thank those that came from Trinity County. Thank you for coming up and supporting me and us. Sheriff Gilbertson, that's why we're here, to support him. A lesser man would have handed in his badge and gun and said, you've made a difficult job impossible. And I think he deserves a round of applause.
Thank you.
I'll give you a little bit of history of kind of how we got started doing this. At Siskiyou County, Sheriff John Lopey was facing multiple basically assaults from, and I don't mean physical, but from various federal agencies and state agencies, and continues to. And they had an event there in Wairika at the fairgrounds, and we said, what can we do, John, for you? And he says, would you guys come and just speak? The more we started talking to each other, the more we started finding out that we had many of the same issues. Our county is 3,400 square miles. About 80% of it is public land, primarily the Forest Service. Now again, as you pointed out, we're not anti-Forest Service because, I know a lot of people that work for them, they're great people. But their regulations and their policies, did anybody vote on the spotted owl expansion? Did anybody vote on that one? No. That's what we're concerned about. Everyone needs to know that the office of sheriff in various parts of this country are under attack. The state of Delaware eliminated, or the state of Connecticut eliminated their office of sheriff, what, about 10 years ago? Something like that. The state of Delaware is battling to maintain their positions there as well. The thing that makes the sheriff unique, somebody said at an event in Haney County, somebody asked, well, if you're a constitutional sheriff, what's an unconstitutional sheriff?
Unemployed.
Great question. I mean, it's a great question because what happens is, now if there's anybody here that's a police chief, I'm not going after police chiefs. Not at all, but here's the difference. Police chiefs are appointed by city councils and can be subject to political pressure. The sheriff can too, but even more so in the case of a police chief. A sheriff is elected by the people. If you don't like the job your sheriff is doing, you vote him out and you vote another one in. That's the way it's supposed to be. Our founding fathers knew that local control was the only way to do this. Because obviously, when you get a bureaucracy of all these federal agencies, they're out of touch with what's going on in our communities. But they'll start putting regulations in that affect us severely. I'll give you a little bit of just a brief history on the timber industry in Trinity County. And in 1985, the timber industry did approximately $32 million worth of business in our county. That was in 1985. In 1995, they did about $800,000 worth of business. And today, pretty sure it's zero. Nothing is being harvested. They're doing some small projects, some stewardship programs. But when you take a county, and in fact, I can tell you that our county symbol's a triangle, and it's got three sides to it: timber, mineral, and water. That's what it says around there. And none of that's being touched. We're not getting any kind of benefit from that. What I believe has happened is these have been little, small bites out of the apple for a couple generations now. Just little bits. But now what we're realizing is that what the government used to give us, the federal government used to give us in federal funding, to make up for the deficiencies in mining and timber harvest are going away. So now the county's going, what do we do? What do we do? There's a way to do this. There are counties in other states that are doing things. Now granted, Otero County, New Mexico has a state law that allows the local government to implement some harvest plans and some thinning plans. Arizona, Apache County, Arizona, has really moved forward with some thinning projects and putting people to work. That's what we want, right? We want people back to work. I mean, we're like Siskiyou County. You know, the unemployment is probably above 20%, which leads to the drugs, the alcohol problems, all that other stuff. We get people back to work. Even our Child Protective Services has even said that if we can put people back to work, we'd probably start really reducing some of those issues as well. It's a new ball game. I don't foresee the economy improving the way it was before, where it just seemed like there was that constant blank check. Watching what these sheriffs are going through, including myself. I mean, you know, it was interesting. You said, you know, you work radar and traffic. I had to work last week. I had to work a attempted homicide. I just don't have the personnel to go around. We have the prolific marijuana industry that's bringing in its set of violence and its criminality with that. And the bottom line is, law enforcement is expensive. It is expensive, and it's going to get more expensive. Counties need to find a way to become more self-sufficient, because that's the way it used to be. Nobody relied on government handouts, but we've gotten used to that, and we got to turn that back. I'll tell you what, I'm not up here to slam the Board of Commissioners or Board of Supervisors. I know that my board does not have a pot of money, and they're just withholding it from me. They literally are out of money. They're flat out of money. That's why I'm emphasizing this is a new game. You have resources here, as we do, but we're not allowed to touch them. We got to open those things back up, get people back to work, and start producing some revenue and be self-sufficient. That's how this country was built. You know, as I look over the crowd, there's a group that's missing, and it's our youth. That's concerning. We are going to, whether you like it or not, start dying off. We've got to engage our youth. They have to become involved in this. They have to, and I know that we're battling, you know, liberal trains of thought in our universities and in our schools as well. But that doesn't mean that the people here that are sitting here today can't spend some time talk about the Constitution as kids, talk about how this country was founded. This country wasn't founded off entitlements. It was founded off the guy next to you working a little harder than you and maybe had a better idea, and he moved forward. That's how this country was built. That's what we have to return to, self-sufficiency.
Yeah. You'll get used here when you put it in the context of them losing their inheritance because of our property values decreasing and blah, blah, blah. In my view.
I mean, we are. I mean, what are the best estimations on the real estate recovering? 10, 15 years? I mean, I don't think anybody really knows, but I don't know if it'll ever return to what it was. But the one thing that I want to close with here is that this is a pretty full room. Don't leave here today and say, "What a great meeting! Those guys are, you know, those guys are kicking butt, or they're standing up for us." You have to get involved. You have to. You have to engage the youth here in this community. We all do. You have to engage your elected officials, your Board of Commissioners. Support this man. You know what? Each one of us is here because we're passionate about public safety and the welfare of our communities. We don't get paid enough to deal with a lot of the headaches that we have to deal with on a daily basis. But I'll tell you this, if you don't get involved and you just go home and you say, gosh, that was a great meeting, and you don't talk to the youth and we don't get them involved, then this will continue to just fall off. I'll tell you what, I'm so proud to be standing up here in front of you people today. You know, this is my free time. I'm not representing my county, I'm representing my office of sheriff. But if we don't get the word out and we don't start waking some people up, this country's going to go. And I think we all realize that. Please get involved. Contact the sheriff, whether it be Neighborhood Watch. I've got a couple, my auxiliary program. You know, we've raised money for a couple of canines that we couldn't afford, but we have to have them in the environment that we work in. The community has to get involved because the money's not there anymore, but we still have a very, very important job to do. And it's on you. We'll sit there and we'll lead, but we got to have the support to get there. We can do this if we pull together. That's why we're here. I mean, I'm from California, Oregon, the deputy from Washington State. These are not unique. This is something that we need to all come together on. And I'll leave you with this. Together we stand, or divided we fall. Thank you.
Sheriff Bruce Haney